Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name in the description below. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. What If Ninja in Jujutsu Kaisen is now on hold, since we've caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if Reborn is Goku clone? What if Natsu has dual elements? What if Transmigrated in one piece and becoming a marine? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 71, Save Me. Erika declared her plan to infiltrate the Team Rocket base right in front of the three executives and the boss himself. Dylan couldn't help but give her a thumbs up. She truly had courage. Erika was indeed a brave gym leader. "I'm sorry, Eileen, but I might not be able to go out with you today," Dylan apologized to Eileen. They had planned to spend these days together, but with this unexpected situation, Dylan had to rush over. The Team Rocket base in Celadon City was undoubtedly one of the largest in Kanto, and this conflict would likely escalate quickly. Even if Giovanni now warned Archer and the others at the Celadon City base to retreat, it would be too late. There was too much important information in a large base to evacuate in such a short time. Moreover, Officer Jenny was already in the group chat, and she would have already notified the League and the police in Celadon City. "No problem, but please be careful." Eileen was worried, but she still softly supported her childhood friend. She wasn't a trainer, so she couldn't go with Dylan. Otherwise, she would only hold him back, and Eileen didn't want to be a burden. "Don't worry," Dylan replied with a smile. He quickly sent a message to Lance, packed up his main Pokemon, stuffed a napping Clefairy into his backpack, and flew towards Celadon City on his Articuno. Team Rocket base in Celadon City. In the control room, Archer was reviewing some research data. "How is it?" Proton asked, lounging on a chair. "It failed again. The genetic rejection is severe," Archer shook his head. Then he picked up a ringing communication device and saw it was the boss calling. "Boss, what?" "Yes, I understand." Archer's already grim face darkened further as he respectfully ended the call. Afterward, he looked at the surveillance screens, his expression shifting between uncertainty and concern. "What's wrong?" Proton noticed something was off and dropped his relaxed demeanor. "Ariana, come to the control room," Archer contacted another executive. "The boss said someone has already infiltrated the base." "That's impossible," Proton frowned. This underground base was extremely concealed, built right beneath the game corner, with their people all over it. "Nothing's impossible," Archer's face looked even more grim. "Officer Jenny must have received the information as well." "Back up the important data, we have to abandon this base," Archer said coldly. The door to the control room opened, and a woman with red hair in a white executive uniform walked in. She was Ariana, another executive and one of the 4 generals of Team Rocket. "Proton, you and Ariana find that intruder. We can't let her escape." Archer continued working at the computer. The genetic fusion research and data they were conducting in this base were extremely important, and they had to be backed up quickly. "I'm quite good at catching rats." A cruel smile slowly spread across Proton's face. Celadon City. Located in the central Kanto region, it was one of the largest cities, second only to the metropolis of Saffron City. The city's name, Celadon, referred to the dreamlike colors of a rainbow, and it was also known as the Rainbow City. Celadon City was famous in Kanto. Though not as developed as Saffron City, its department store was renowned throughout the region, and the game corner was the largest in Kanto. The top prize at the game corner was even a rare Dratini, making it famous far and wide. Articuno's flying speed was quite fast, and Dylan arrived just outside Celadon City after about 2 hours. He had Articuno land outside the city, recalled it, and then walked into Celadon City. Normally, cities didn't allow Pokemon to carry people into them, mainly to avoid disrupting the cityscape and preventing accidental injuries. Moreover, Articuno was one of Kanto's legendary Pokémon, far too conspicuous. Though Dylan didn't mind being the center of attention, he actually quite enjoyed it. The timing wasn't right. Outside a hot pot restaurant near the Celadon Game Corner was the place where Dylan had arranged to meet Erica. There's been no movement for over 2 hours. Could she really have been caught? Dylan checked the gym leaders group chat and noticed Erica hadn't said anything in the chat. If she really had infiltrated the Team Rocket base, not having time to check her phone was understandable. But there was also the possibility that she had already been caught. After all, Giovanni would have certainly informed Archer that someone had infiltrated the base. Hey! Just then, a girl's voice came from behind Dylan. Why are you dressed like that? Dylan turned around to see a rather ordinary-looking black-haired girl wearing a t-shirt and a plaid skirt. He gave Leah a strange look, especially at her chest, since the curve was shockingly large, easily a D cup at least. Hey, hey, hey! What kind of look is that, you pervert? The girl named Leah immediately crossed her arms and puffed up her cheeks, noticing Dylan's inappropriate gaze. It's not always about being bigger, you know? You might be dissatisfied with yourself, but we have to face reality. Dylan thought for a moment and sympathetically consoled Leah for her self-deception. What do you mean? I've always been this big. Leah was furious. What do you mean by facing reality? Okay, Dylan nodded in response. Dylan. Leah gritted her teeth in frustration. She had only dressed this way for disguise, though she had a tiny bit of personal motive. But she was naturally a cute girl, so what's wrong with enhancing her appearance a bit? Did you call Red? Yes, but it'll take him some time to get here. Leah turned away, awkwardly changing the subject. Alright, let's observe the surroundings first. Dylan glanced toward the large, bustling game corner. Okay. The two of them began walking around the game corner like ordinary passers-by. With this information about the Team Rocket base, Officer Jenny must have already received the news. I also informed Champion Lance. You told Lance? Leah was surprised. Yes, why? Dylan was puzzled by her reaction. It's not a huge issue, but Lance's attitude towards Team Rocket is extreme, Leah whispered. She had once secretly witnessed Lance wipe out a Team Rocket base. In the Kanto League, Lorelei and Lance are quite unique. Their approach to Team Rocket is extremely ruthless. Leah explained in detail. Apparently, of the Team Rocket members captured by Lorelei, 7 out of 10 might suffer severe frostbite, leaving them with long-term injuries. If not treated in time, they might even freeze to death. And Lance is even more extreme. Only those who survive his attacks are eligible to be captured by the League. Leah enthusiastically described the scene, showing no sympathy for Team Rocket. Lance's attack had left a deep impression on Leah. The Draco meteor that rained down from the sky completely engulfed the entire Team Rocket base in continuous bombardment. In that kind of attack, those hiding in the base were truly unlucky, and their survival depended entirely on luck. Leah knew all too well what Team Rocket did in secret. Because of her childhood experiences, she had absolutely no sympathy for an evil organization like Team Rocket. This was also one of the reasons she constantly caused trouble for them. I see, Dylan mused. It seemed that both Lance and Lorelei had extreme personalities. As they chatted, the two soon arrived at a secluded alley behind the game corner. By the way, look there. That's where I snuck into the Team Rocket base. Leah pointed to a hidden manhole cover in a corner. It was quite a coincidence. I felt something was off about the game corner and decided to investigate. Then I saw someone sneaking out of here, and when I went in, I discovered it led directly to the Team Rocket base. Impressive, Dylan praised Leah. Just then, the manhole cover was pushed open, and a person in tight black clothing climbed out, coming face to face with Dylan and Leah. It was a girl, as her curves were still noticeable under the tight clothing. The girl hesitated for a moment, but upon seeing Dylan, her expression brightened with relief, and she limped toward him, nearly in tears. Dylan, save me! My goodness! I don't understand it. I hadn't been inside for long, but it felt like the entire base was searching for me. Chapter 72, She Must Be Jealous. No, the fact that you managed to crawl out from there in one piece is already a miracle. Dylan looked at the disheveled figure in black, or rather, gym leader Erica, and couldn't help but feel a bit exasperated. That so-called gym leaders group chat was more like a place for leaders to be critiqued. It also had another nickname, the Team Rocket Senior Executive Spy Group. Loudly plotting in front of the Team Rocket boss and 3 senior executives, isn't it normal to run into some trouble? Who are you? Despite his inner thoughts, Dylan appropriately showed a bit of caution, looking at the limping figure in black approaching. Erica. It's me, Erica, gym leader Dylan. The figure in black hesitated, then quickly pulled down the black mask, revealing a pale but very delicate and beautiful face. Gym leader Erica? You, be careful. Dylan was about to say something when he saw a large purple cobra climbing out of the manhole behind Erica, its cold eyes fixed on her back. Erica also felt the terrifying chill from behind, her body instantly stiffening. Damn! Artie! Mio Scarata! Dylan's fingers expanded 2 minimized pokeballs, intending to release Articuno, but remembering that Leah was with him, he instead released his Mio Scarata. Due to her childhood experiences, Leah had a severe fear of birds. Seeing a bird Pokemon would trigger her phobia. Meow. In a flash of white light, Mio Scarata landed gracefully in front of Dylan, standing tall and haughtily gazing at the Arbok ahead. The Arbok seemed to sense Mio Scarata's hostility and pressure, hesitating with its tongue flicking. Gym leader Erica, come here. Seizing the opportunity, Dylan quickly pulled Erica behind him. Thank you, gym leader Dylan, ouch. Erica was extremely grateful, glad to have encountered gym leader Dylan. But before she could finish, Erica gasped, biting her lip as cold sweat covered her pale face, unable to speak clearly due to the pain. She's poisoned. Leah helped Erica sit down, and with her experience, she quickly lifted Erica's pant leg, having noticed earlier that Erica's leg seemed injured. On inspection, she found 4 darkened, small puncture wounds, clearly from a snake bite. Yes, I'm sorry. I got bitten by an Arbok while escaping. Erica spoke weakly, enduring the pain. Gym leader Erica, stop talking and use this. Dylan took out a full heal from his backpack, one of the best medicines that could cure any abnormal status. Wow, such extravagance, Leah remarked, taking the antidote from Dylan and spraying it on Erica's wound. Before their eyes, the dark purple around the wound began to recede noticeably, and soon the poison would be completely removed. So you have 2 companions, huh? A chilling female voice suddenly interrupted. Dylan looked over to see a gloomy red-haired woman emerging from a back door, with 2 Team Rocket members behind her. Gnawing at wood, biting through bags, invading others' homes. Truly ill-mannered rats. Ariana approached the Arbok, her sinister gaze fixed on Erica, mercilessly mocking her. She was in a foul mood. This base in Celadon was her responsibility, and now because of this intruder, they had to abandon it. How could she not be angry? Erica's face changed, showing anger in her eyes, but she was too weak to respond. Is this a self-introduction, Team Rocket's Ariana? Leah gestured for Erica to rest and turned to Ariana with a taunting smile. If anyone resembles rats, it's you lot in Team Rocket, always hiding underground, away from the sun. Look at your complexion. You could star in a zombie movie without makeup. Leah spoke quickly but clearly. The scene fell silent. Erica looked at the seemingly ordinary girl in surprise. She was amazing. The 2 Team Rocket members were shocked. How dare this girl insult Ariana, who had a terrible temper? Ariana's face darkened, becoming almost twisted with rage. Was she being compared to a zombie? Ho ho ho, such a sharp-tongued little girl. After a moment, Ariana laughed angrily, but her smile was terrifying. Once I tear that mouth off, I wonder if it will still be able to talk. The malice in Ariana's eyes was chilling. Oh no, I'm so scared. Leah mockingly hugged herself, hiding behind Dylan, pretending to be frightened. Her exaggerated tone and performance made Ariana's face twitch with anger. Dylan, this zombie woman is so fierce. She wants to bully your cute little sister. She must be jealous of my beauty, and because she can't have it, she wants to destroy me. Leah declared with a righteous fury. Ariana was even more infuriated. Jealous? Of you? Have you seen your plain face? Why would I be jealous? How outrageous. Doesn't she know I'm Dylan's beloved? Too wicked. Right, Dylan? Leah clung to Dylan's sleeve, acting all delicate and vulnerable. In other words, protect me. Erica, the patient, wow. Dylan. Dylan looked speechlessly at Leah peeking from behind him, blinking her big eyes innocently. Ariana's face was contorted with rage. Arbok. She couldn't take it anymore and wanted to capture this annoying girl. At her command, the fierce Arbok opened its bloodthirsty mouth, revealing its fangs, and lunged at Dylan and Leah with alarming speed. This was a dark-type move, crunch. Quick attack. Dylan's brow furrowed. A ghostly green shadow flashed by, and the Arbok, initially lunging, was suddenly hit as if struck by a truck, flying back at even greater speed, slamming into the wall heavily. Ariana's pupils contracted. Meow. Neoscarata stood elegantly, slightly tilting its head, its sinister expression exuding a palpable malice. It was Neoscarata who had knocked Arbok away. Ariana looked at the Pokémon with an uncertain expression. This should be a Neoscarata from the Paldea region. But as a senior executive of Team Rocket, Ariana was strong too. For her main Arbok to be knocked back without reacting. Something wasn't right. Ariana's anger began to cool. As one of Team Rocket's 4 generals, she wasn't foolish. The Arbok slid down the wall, but its condition was visibly worse. What's wrong? Not attacking? I can give you another chance. Seeing Ariana hesitate, Dylan spoke with his usual gentle tone, as if he were talking about something trivial. Don't be afraid. If you don't attack, I will. As a senior executive of Team Rocket, Ariana, handing you over to the League might earn me another pseudo-legendary dragon-type Pokémon. The gentlest voice, saying the most terrifying things. Question marks floated above Ariana's head. Ariana felt uneasy. Had she kicked a steel board? Chapter 73, I Won't Let You Go. Ariana was very cautious. As a high-ranking officer of Team Rocket, she had always been a prime target for the Kanto League. If she made a mistake, she could end up in jail, serving a life sentence. If she wasn't careful, she would have been captured long ago. Moreover, you're the gym leader of the Rota Gym, Dylan? Suddenly, Ariana seemed to recall something, frowning as she looked at Dylan. Is it an honor that Miss Ariana knows of me? Dylan remained as polite as ever. Seeing Dylan admit it, Ariana squinted slightly, her eyes flashing. During the SSN incident, Team Rocket's Archer was defeated by 2 young boys, which caused quite a stir. Ariana had asked Archer about it, and he said that if it hadn't been for a female clown interfering from the sidelines, he wouldn't have lost. That female clown must have been that annoying girl. So, judging by this, Dylan's strength should be less than Archer's? And she herself was only slightly weaker than Archer. With this calculation, she should be able to take down Dylan? Ariana analyzed. But the sudden attack just now felt a bit off, so she decided to test it out again. Ariana made up her mind and threw out another Pokeball. A Vileplume, with an indigo body and a large flower on its head, appeared before Ariana. Dylan, what do you mean by getting a pseudo-legendary dragon-type baby? Compared to Ariana's deep contemplation, Leah was more concerned about what Dylan had said. After the SSN incident, the Kanto League rewarded me with a Dratini, Dylan admitted without hiding anything. Ah? Erica was taken aback by this. Even Leah, who had been calm, was also startled. Dratini, the pre-evolution of Dragonite, was extremely rare and valuable. Given that it was a reward from the League, its talent was surely guaranteed. A Dratini with excellent talent was so rare that it was virtually priceless on the black market. Such a loss. Such a huge loss. Erica, realizing the significance, kept slapping her forehead in regret. But Dylan, can you handle her alone? After all, she is one of the 4 executives. What do you think? Dylan chuckled at this quirky girl and turned his gaze back to Ariana. Even a week ago, he was confident in defeating Ariana, let alone now. His Meowscarada had already reached level 61. Miss Ariana, what do you think? Arbok, use Fire Fang. Ariana did not respond verbally. Instead, with a serious expression, she ordered her Pokemon. Arbok's fangs ignited with flames as it slithered towards Meowscarada. Still haven't learned your lesson. Dylan's tone was calm. Sucker Punch. Meowscarada's gem-like eyes flashed with dark light, its claws surrounded by a black glow, and it disappeared in an instant. A dark-type Sucker Punch. When it reappeared, Meowscarada was right in front of Arbok, giving the cobra a menacing grin before striking with its right claw. Sucker Punch hit Arbok's neck hard, making it hiss in pain. But Meowscarada didn't stop there. It lifted Arbok with its right claw and pushed it forcefully. Bam! Arbok was slammed against the wall, causing it to crack like a spider web. Arbok closed its eyes in pain, its body going limp. Meow! Meowscarada held Arbok high with one arm, tilting its head as it gazed at the fallen cobra. With a smug and sinister smile, it let out a mocking purr. Weren't you going to dance? Why can't you dance now? Dylan, your Pokemon is quite wild. Leah watched in amazement. From any angle, this Meowscarada didn't seem like a tame Pokemon. It had an unmistakable aura of wildness and evil. Erica nodded in agreement with Leah, her eyes shining as she stared at Meowscarada. As a gym leader specializing in grass types, she was captivated by its wild and powerful charm. Arbok, sensing Meowscarada's contempt, began to struggle again. Boom! Meowscarada exerted force with its right arm, smashing Arbok's head into the wall, creating a deep crater. Arbok! Ariana's expression changed. This Meowscarada's strength was indeed unusual. Even though Sucker Punch was a priority Dark-type move, it shouldn't be so fast that her Arbok couldn't react at all. The most likely explanation was that this Meowscarada was much stronger than her Arbok. Vileplume, use Moonblast. Ariana immediately ordered Vileplume to attack. She had initially planned to use Arbok to distract Meowscarada and then have Vileplume ambush or attack Dylan and the others. But unexpectedly, Arbok was defeated so quickly. This was not the strength of an Elite Four member. Ariana watched the sinister Meowscarada, gritting her teeth. Although she was not as strong as Archer and the other top officers, she was second only to Archer among the 4 executives. But now her main Pokemon, Arbok, was defeated in just a few moves. This was unreasonable. Sucker Punch. Dylan smiled. Vileplume let out a cry as a virtual moon appeared behind it, scattering moonlight. A fairy-type Moonblast. But before the attack could form, the ghostly Meowscarada appeared behind Vileplume, its sharp claws tearing through the air and striking down. Sucker Punch hit directly, sending Vileplume flying and interrupting its Moonblast. Night Slash. Meowscarada swiftly charged at Vileplume again, its face twisted in a wicked grin. Its purple-black claws slashed down at Vileplume. A Dark-type Night Slash. Night Slash struck Vileplume's chest hard, causing it to scream in agony. Seeing Vileplume still howling, Meowscarada quickly struck again with Night Slash, sending Vileplume into a deep sleep. Yes, Vileplume had fainted. Seeing Vileplume defeated so quickly, Ariana's face changed drastically. She was now certain. This Meowscarada was probably champion level. Even if it was Elite Four level, it shouldn't be able to crush her like a bug. Archer, you bastard. Even if you didn't want to lose face in front of your colleagues, you shouldn't have lied about your defeat. This screwed her over. If she had known Dylan was a champion level, she would have fled immediately. The difference between Elite Four and champion level was significant. Miss Ariana, it seems your strength isn't as impressive as I thought. Dylan stepped forward, smiling faintly at the pale Ariana. Meowscarada stood one step ahead of Dylan, arms crossed, tilting its head as it observed the three humans. Ariana's face turned even paler, and the two Team Rocket members behind her were trembling. Ariana gritted her teeth. There was only one option left. Mr. Dylan, it was my mistake. I apologize for my rudeness. Please forgive my earlier disrespect. Ariana lowered her proud head, her tone softening as she pleaded with Dylan. Very perceptive. She had no choice, she couldn't win. Ariana did have other Pokemon, but what was the point? This Meowscarada, like a ghost, had defeated her main Pokemon in a few moves. And this Meowscarada didn't seem like a normal Pokemon at all. Ariana feared that this dark, sinister Meowscarada might attack her next. Oh? Dylan was surprised, his expression turning strange. Erika and Leah were also surprised. Team Rocket's high-ranking officer was begging for mercy so quickly? Mr. Dylan, what do you think? Ariana glanced at Dylan's expression, hoping for a chance. She had decided that if Dylan spared her, she would pack up and leave Celadon City as soon as she returned to the base. Dylan pondered for a moment. Actually, even if you beg, I won't let you go. Dylan quickly decided, speaking to Ariana. Ariana, you know the League will pay a good price for you. Maybe you could help me get a talented Larvitar or another pseudo-legendary dragon type. Ariana's face froze. Anyway, Team Rocket is doomed. It would be good for you to get familiar with the prison environment early. Dylan was serious, it was clear from his tone and expression. Chapter 74, Yay! Dylan, don't go too far. Ariana was furious. This was simply an insult to her. Oh? Dylan raised an eyebrow, and Meowscarada's eyes narrowed slightly. The Pokemon League is indeed stingy. Dylan, I'm willing to exchange myself for 2 Larvitars. Please forgive me this once. Ariana bowed solemnly to Dylan. Leah, pfft. Erika. Are you serious? Dylan smirked. Absolutely serious, Dylan. Though Team Rocket has a bad reputation, I, Ariana, always keep my word. Seeing a chance, Ariana became excited. Simultaneously, she angrily kicked the 2 Team Rocket members behind her. These idiots had no situational awareness. The 2 Team Rocket members were stunned, then they saw Ariana's cold and ruthless eyes, and shivered. Why yes, that's right. Lady Ariana might be harsh, but she has never lied to us. The 2 Team Rocket members spoke with a hint of grievance. Lady Ariana, such authority. Even in this situation, you still have the mind to threaten your subordinates. Leah spoke cheerfully, completely disregarding Ariana's dignity. Ha ha ha. Though ashamed and angry, Ariana forced a laugh and didn't retort. You brat. If you weren't protected by someone strong, I would tear your mouth apart. Dylan, what do you think? If you let me go, I'll definitely deliver the 2 Larvitars. Dylan, don't listen to her. How could someone as poor as her come up with 2 Larvitars? It's laughable. Leah mocked mercilessly. Ariana herself used Pokemon like Arbok and Vileplume, yet she dared to claim she could produce 2 Larvitars. Miss. Our Team Rocket executives have long been rooted in the Kanto region. Do you think we can't get Larvitars? Ariana's face darkened as she sneered. Frog in a well. Whether it's Dratini or Larvitar, getting them is not hard for us Team Rocket. Stealing from innocent trainers, right? You're so impressive. Leah's tone was sarcastic. If a trainer can't even protect their Pokemon, who can they blame? Ariana responded calmly, not seeing any fault in robbing others' Pokemon. Ridiculous. This is the classic blame the victim mentality of a thief. Whether they are weak or not, it's no excuse for Team Rocket's crimes. Erika, regaining some strength, flushed with anger at Ariana's words. She was a righteous and kind-hearted trainer, unable to accept Ariana's twisted logic. I'm too lazy to argue with you too. Dylan, please believe in my sincerity. You are a champion-level trainer, we wouldn't offend you for the sake of two pseudo-legendary infants. Ariana coldly laughed twice, ignoring the two naive girls, and looked respectfully at Dylan. Two pseudo-legendary infants were indeed valuable, but it was worth trading them for a senior executive. Although Ariana's proposal is tempting, I'm afraid it's a no. Dylan chuckled, signaling to Mio Scarata. Mio Scarata, bursting with energy, was ready to pounce. Ariana sensed danger and instinctively reached for the pokeball in her hand. Sorry, I'm a league gym leader. As Dylan's words fell, a black-green shadow appeared behind Ariana in an instant. Meow. A malicious whisper sounded in Ariana's ear, making her hair stand on end. Wait. Dylan, Ariana tried to speak, but a sharp pain in her neck made her black out and collapse. Thud, the unopened pokeball slipped from her hand to the ground. The two Team Rocket members, sensing the situation, surrendered immediately, not wanting to face Mio Scarata's wrath. Indeed, in a non-official battle, attacking the trainer directly is the most efficient. Dylan picked up the pokeball, nodding in satisfaction. Mio Scarata appeared beside Dylan. Well done, Mio Scarata. Without you, it wouldn't have been this easy. Dylan smiled warmly, praising Mio Scarata, knowing its pride and attachment. Meow. Mio Scarata's eerie yet beautiful eyes narrowed into slits, expressing happiness. Erica, are you okay? You should rest for a bit. Dylan looked at Erica, who was struggling to stand. Though the full heal had cured her poisoning, complete recovery would take some time. I'm fine now. I already informed Officer Jenny, and she's on her way. Thank you so much, Dylan. Erica continuously expressed gratitude. Without Dylan, she couldn't have escaped from Ariana in her poisoned state. That's good. Dylan glanced at the unconscious Ariana, planning to hand her over to Officer Jenny and later demand compensation from Lance. Erica, you were a bit reckless this time. Dylan addressed Erica. In any case, you should have notified Officer Jenny or the league higher-ups first. Yes, I'm very sorry. I was too confident and didn't think it through. Erica blushed, sincerely apologizing. This infiltration has alerted them, and Team Rocket might withdraw soon. Leah pondered. Erica's infiltration had been discovered, and Archer and the others were likely preparing to retreat. It's all my fault. Erica felt very guilty. Don't worry. Officer Jenny has sealed off the area, and I informed Champion Lance. He should be arriving soon. None of these Team Rocket members will escape. Dylan smiled reassuringly. Impressive, Dylan. Hearing this, Erica sighed in relief. If the Team Rocket members had escaped because of her, she would have felt terrible. But she couldn't understand how the Team Rocket base's security was so good that she was discovered shortly after infiltrating. Soon, Cerulean City's Officer Jenny arrived, taking the unconscious Ariana and the two miserable Team Rocket members away. Then Dylan, Erica, and Leah headed to Erica's house, but... Gym Leader Group Chat. Celadon Gym Erica, a few unsafe now. Add everyone, thank you for your concern. I made it out safely. TearyEyes.jpg. Cerulean Gym Daisy, thank goodness Erica, it's great that you're okay. Vermilion Gym Lieutenant Surge, haha well done, Erica. Thumbsup.jpg. Saffron Gym Dylan, tilted head, confused.jpg. Celadon Gym Erica, Lieutenant Surge, don't tease me. It's all thanks to Dylan. Without him, I might have been captured by Team Rocket. PuppyEyes.jpg. Officer Jenny, I heard from Officer Jenny there. You should thank Dylan properly. Celadon Gym Erica, sister, please don't scold me. I know I was wrong. Crying.jpg. Celadon Gym Erica, oh my gosh, everyone, you weren't there, but Dylan was amazing. He defeated Ariana, a senior executive of Team Rocket, so easily. This is a big deal. JPG. Viridian Gym Giovanni, is that so? Impressive, indeed. Sigh.jpg. Vermilion Gym Lieutenant Surge, oh wow, did you capture Ariana? Surprise.jpg. Celadon Gym Erica. Yes, Ariana got a pair of silver bracelets. Dylan also informed Champion Lance, and we're preparing to act tonight. None of those evil Team Rocket members will escape. Sunglasses.jpg. Viridian Gym Giovanni, hee then I'm not worried. I hope you all return victorious. Well wishes.jpg. Cinnabar Gym Blaine, it's reassuring to see the younger generation handling things well. Saffron Gym Dylan, confused.jpg. Vermilion Gym Lieutenant Surge, go get them, the League and Team Rocket can't coexist. Evil will always be brought to justice. Charge.jpg. Rhoda Gym Dylan, yay. Dylan glanced at the excited Erica, who was typing away. Not bad. Great, more fun. Chapter 75, Rats? Erica's Residence. Please enjoy. My tea-making skills are not as refined as those of the masters, so please forgive me, Erica said with a gentle smile. Erica had already bathed and changed into a beautiful kimono. She gracefully raised her fair, white wrist to pour tea for Dylan and Leah. At this moment, Erica appeared elegant, serene, and gentle, a stark contrast to her lively demeanor in the group chat. In fact, Erica was indeed a refined young lady who owned a perfume shop. She was also a highly skilled flower arranger. With her fair and pure appearance, she was the gym leader of Celadon City, making her the epitome of a wealthy, beautiful, and refined woman. Very nice, Dylan said with a smile after taking a sip. I'm really grateful to you, Dylan. If it weren't for you saving me, I don't know what might have happened, Erica said sincerely. Erica, you've mentioned this many times already, Dylan interrupted, shaking his head. As gym leaders of the Kanto League, it's only natural for us to help each other. Besides, you risked your life to investigate Team Rocket's base, Dylan said calmly. No matter what, it was still a life-saving favor, Erica insisted. Erica was very persistent. If Dylan hadn't saved her and she had been captured by Ariana and taken back to the Team Rocket base, Erica couldn't imagine what she would have faced. She would probably have encountered many terrifying things since she was not only an infiltrator but also an official gym leader of the league, not a minor figure. That's right, Erica, you should say, I owe you my life and can only repay you with my body, Leah teased, her cheeks puffed out like a hamster as she snacked and laughed mischievously. This. Erica blushed deeply at Leah's words. She was indeed very grateful to Dylan, but repaying him with her body was too much. Don't talk nonsense, Dylan said, glaring at Leah. What? Erica just wants to thank you, and she wouldn't be losing out, Leah muttered, rolling her eyes. Leah thought Erica would be getting a great deal. Dylan had good looks, strength, wealth, and his talent as a trainer was monstrous. Last week, he had fought alongside Red against Archer, and now he had captured Ariana. Shut up, Dylan said, stuffing a piece of cake into Leah's mouth. Leah's eyes widened, the cake was too big. Don't mind Leah, she's just a bit mischievous, Dylan apologized to Erica. It's okay, Erica said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, avoiding eye contact with Dylan. She knew Leah was joking, but as a reserved young lady, she found such comments a bit overwhelming. She wasn't as quirky as Leah. If you ever need anything, feel free to contact me. I won't refuse, Erica said with a serious tone and a modest smile. Alright, I won't be shy if I need your help, Dylan responded with a smile. By the way, Dylan, why is your Mio Scarata so strong? Leah asked curiously, taking another bite of cake. Mio Scarata was my starter Pokemon. It's natural for it to be strong, Dylan said, shrugging innocently. Where did you get it, if I may ask? Erica inquired, equally curious. I received it when I enrolled in a Pokemon school. I chose it as a Sprigatito because it felt like fate, Dylan explained, smiling. In his Pokemon school, starter Pokemon were distributed, and sometimes, they included starters from other regions. Like Liko in Pokemon Horizons, who received a Sprigatito at the Pokemon school in Pallet Town. If you like Mioscarada, you could visit the Paldea region or ask a friend to send you one, Dylan suggested, sensing Erika's fondness for the Pokemon. Thank you, I understand, Erika said thoughtfully. The three continued chatting over tea. Meanwhile, the Celadon City Police had begun their operation. The area around the game corner was temporarily cordoned off by Officer Jenny and her team, evacuating guests and residents. Team Rocket was the largest criminal organization in the Kanto region. Once discovered, they would not be tolerated. However, the game corner was a popular spot, so evacuating everyone took time. With a roar, a fierce Aerodactyl descended into Erika's courtyard. A young man with fiery red hair leapt off the Aerodactyl. It was the champion, Lance. Lance, you arrived quickly, Dylan remarked as the three of them stepped out of the house. Disguised, Leah curiously observed the Kanto champion, who exuded a dragon-like arrogance and imposing presence. Erika, on the other hand, was a bit cautious. She had heard many rumors about Lance, all suggesting he was arrogant and difficult to get along with. I heard from Officer Jenny. You did well, Dylan, Lance said with a rare smile, looking at Dylan with approval. No wonder he was Lance's junior. Although Lance despised Ariana, he had to admit that Team Rocket's executives were cunning, making them difficult to capture. But Dylan had managed to capture Ariana, making Lance increasingly fond of his junior. As expected, Viridian Forest chose wisely. When I return to Indigo Plateau, I will personally request a reward for you from the chairman. What do you want? Lance asked generously. Thank you, Champion Lance. I would like a gifted Pokemon, Dylan said after a moment of thought. If possible, a Larvitar or another pseudo-legendary would be great. Lance raised an eyebrow, finding his junior quite ambitious. Having ambition is necessary, Lance said with a grin. A well-trained pseudo-legendary could become a team's backbone or even a star player. But Dylan, raising dragons takes time and effort. How's the Dratini I entrusted to you? Lance asked sternly. He hoped Dylan wasn't neglecting his Pokemon in pursuit of stronger ones. Don't worry, Champion Lance. I won't neglect any of my Pokemon, Dylan assured. That's good to hear, Lance said, nodding in satisfaction. I will discuss your request with the president. I can't guarantee approval, but it shouldn't be a problem, Lance said calmly. Ariana was one of Team Rocket's executives and a formidable trainer. Capturing her justified the request for a pseudo-legendary. If the chairman disagrees, I'll personally give you another Dratini with a different ability, Lance added, remembering Dylan's Dratini had the shed skin ability. Hearing Lance's casual tone, Leah and Erika were stunned. Is Dratini really that worthless? Thank you in advance, Champion Lance, Dylan said, accepting the offer. Though he already had a Dragonite, having more was never a bad thing, especially as a gesture from Lance. You and I both received gifts from Viridian Forest. You can call me Senior, Lance said softly. Okay, Senior Lance. Dylan responded, sensing Lance's different attitude towards him. Lance had been focused on Dylan the entire time, not sparing a glance at Leah or Erika. Clearly, in Lance's eyes, they weren't worth his time. Let's go take care of those filthy rats, Lance said, leaping back onto Aerodactyl with a flick of his cape. Team Rocket must be eliminated. Lance's gaze was icy. By now, it was 6:30 in the evening, and the sky had darkened. Aerodactyl hovered mid-air, with Lance standing tall, his red hair blowing in the night wind as he gazed expressionlessly at the massive game corner below. On the ground, officers stood ready. Outside the area, a middle-aged man in a suit and black bowler hat squinted up at Lance. Boss? Not yet. Wait. The man's magnetic voice was soft. If Proton and Apollo could escape with important data, there would be no need for him to intervene. Chapter 76, He's a Criminal. Champion Lance, there are no signs of any Team Rocket members yet. A leading officer Jenny reported through her radio to Lance. She had been discreetly surrounding the game corner with her team since the afternoon. Except for a few Team Rocket members, they hadn't seen anyone else. It was likely because of Ariana's disappearance that the Team Rocket members in this underground base had become more cautious. Rats will always be rats. Have we confirmed that there are no other exits around this base? Lance asked coldly. Yes. We have thoroughly checked and are guarding the surrounding area. Then let's begin. Lance replied calmly. If it were his usual style, he would have his 2 Dragonites unleash a dual Draco Meteor on the game corner. But this was a large underground Team Rocket base, and there could be many innocent Pokemon trapped inside. Despite his hatred for Team Rocket and his extreme stance towards them, Lance's love for Pokemon was genuine. Following Lance's orders, Lorelei led several Officer Jennies and elite officers into the game corner. At the back of the game corner, 2 Officer Jennies, led by Arcanine, cleared the way, with Dylan and Leah following behind. Arcanine's keen sense of smell could detect Team Rocket's ambushes and locate their positions promptly. Ariana previously exited through the back door. There must be a secret passage nearby that leads into the base. Inside the game corner, Leah analyzed. In the afternoon, there were still tourists in the game corner, and Ariana wouldn't have walked around inside with 2 Team Rocket members. The 2 Arcanines quickly identified something amiss, leading them to a tile. Suddenly, a burst of flamethrower erupted. With the explosion of flamethrower, the tile blew up, revealing a tunnel. Gym leader Dylan, according to the plan, shall we split up? Entering the underground base, an Officer Jenny asked Dylan. Sure, but make sure to prioritize your safety. Dylan nodded, reminding the officers. Don't worry. Officer Jenny nodded seriously. They were well-trained officers. I'll also go solo, Leah. We'll contact each other once we find the lab. Leah observed her surroundings, waved to Dylan, and headed off. Their main goal was to find the laboratory and control room in this underground base, prioritizing the rescue of trapped Pokemon. After the Officer Jennies and Leah left, Dylan opened 2 Pokeballs. Salazzle appeared in front of him, and beside Salazzle was a bipedal, dark purple Pokemon. It resembled a bipedal monster from a tokusatsu show, with skin as hard as stone, a thick tail, and a white chest and belly. This was a Nidoking, evolved from Nidorino. Nidoking, poison/ground type, drill Pokemon. Ability, Sheer Force. Moves, Mega Horn, Earth Power, Poison Jab, Toxic, Toxic Spikes, Sucker Punch, Egg Move. Earthquake, Thunderbolt. Description: its thick tail packs enormous destructive power, capable of breaking steel towers. Once it goes into a rage, there's no stopping it. This Nidoking was one of Dylan's main poison-type Pokemon, and it was very strong. The space here is a bit tight, but it doesn't matter. Dylan smirked, noticing 4 Team Rocket members in black uniforms quickly approaching. Undoubtedly, they had detected the disturbance and were coming to investigate. Quick! Notify General Archer, we've found an intruder. The others have left, there's only one here. Just one person? How arrogant! Take him down. League Lapdog. You dare walk into a trap. The 4 Team Rocket members shouted, then threw their Pokeballs. Golbat, Arbok, Gloom, and Mako glared menacingly at Nidoking and Salazzle. Is it just you? Dylan asked. The 4 Team Rocket members were stunned. So, it's just you 4. Can you tell me where Archer is? Dylan asked again. Compared to these ordinary Team Rocket members, he was more interested in finding Archer. Stop joking. Who would tell you where General Archer is? The 4 Team Rocket members became wary. It seems you won't cooperate. But that's fine, you'll talk when it hurts. Dylan chuckled, stepping back and signaling to Nidoking and Salazzle. Nidoking growled, golden electricity crackling on its body. Salazzle's mouth filled with a red, searing flame. You arrogant jerk! There are 4 of us. The large Team Rocket member leading the group was furious. Even if he looked down on them, there had to be a limit. Dylan raised an eyebrow. Golbat, wing attack. Mako, use brick break. Gloom, use razor leaf. Arbok, use ice fang. The four Pokemon attacked together, and then, there was nothing.
Nidoking's Thunderbolt and Salazzle's Flamethrower swiftly crushed the four Pokemon.
The powerful attack sent the four Team Rocket members flying, crashing to the ground. One unfortunate member hit his face, causing a bloody wound, and he gasped in pain. The other three were also injured, looking miserable.
Pathetic. You're even weaker than I expected.
Dylan slowly walked to the four Team Rocket members, noting their terrified expressions.
Nidoking and Salazzle stood like bodyguards beside him.
This wasn't a gym, he had to be cautious and ensure his safety. The four Team Rocket members blushed with shame, but the pain reminded them that this seemingly harmless young man was terrifying. Good, Team Rocket pays you to do a job, so don't throw your lives away for them.
It's not worth it.
Even as a worker, you must think of yourself. Dylan was pleased with their fearful response.
The four nodded like chickens pecking at grain.
So, tell me, where is Archer?
Dylan smiled charmingly, leaning forward.
The four hesitated. Would they betray their leader?
Dylan narrowed his eyes. Nidoking stepped forward, its fierce gaze sweeping over them, crackling with electricity.
The oppressive aura from Nidoking made the four shiver, turning pale.
General Archer is still in the control room.
Yes. He was copying data earlier, so he hasn't left.
Archer? He's an unforgivable criminal.
By the way, sir, Archer brought a special item to the base.
We can show you the way.
They spoke quickly. Good, you're very sensible, Dylan praised them. Team Rocket has no future, the league is the standard.
I'm glad you're turning over a new leaf. And you mentioned a special item? Dylan looked at the member with the face wound.
If he remembered correctly, Leah had also mentioned that Archer brought something important to this base. Yes, sir, I greeted Archer when he arrived.
I'm sure it was a Pokeball.
The Team Rocket member affirmed.
A Pokeball? Dylan pondered. What kind of Pokeball would Archer value so much? The Master Ball hadn't been developed yet. Or was it about the Pokemon inside the Pokeball? Chapter 77, Serious Face? Interesting. Dylan's lips curled up slightly. What Archer valued certainly wasn't something ordinary. Boom! A faint explosion echoed from afar. Dylan glanced in that direction, clearly indicating that the main force had already stormed the base and was fighting Team Rocket. You guys, leave through the back door. Go surrender, and if you're sincere, you probably won't be detained for long.
Having obtained the location of the room from these Team Rocket members, Dylan spoke to the four.
Don't do bad things anymore. Not every league trainer is as easygoing as I am. Dylan reminded them, heading in that direction. He had given the warning and the opportunity.
If these four Team Rocket members still insisted on throwing their lives away, it wasn't his fault.
Thank you, sir. Quick. Let's go.
The four got up, enduring their injuries, and hurriedly left the Team Rocket base, although they still had Pokemon capable of fighting.
But they weren't foolish.
With the Pokemon League already storming in, staying there was a death sentence.
Are we really going to surrender? Are you stupid?
Surrendering now means a lighter sentence.
This base is doomed. When we get out of jail, we can do whatever we want.
I've been wanting to leave this lousy Team Rocket for ages.
Can't even see the sun all day.
My hard-earned tan has faded.
Damn it. Let's go, hurry, before the league gets here.
The four helped each other, eagerly heading to surrender to Officer Jenny for the first time in their lives.
Meanwhile, Dylan, following the directions given by the four, turned a corner. League lapdog. Your journey ends here.
A male and female Team Rocket member shouted righteously.
Dylan looked at the female Team Rocket member with interest.
Team Rocket's black uniform was quite stylish, showing the designer had a decent sense of aesthetics. Unlike the bizarre uniforms of later villainous organizations.
Nidoking. After a quick glance, Dylan called out to Nidoking. Nidoking bared its teeth and stepped forward. And then, Damn! How can they be so strong?
The male Team Rocket member fell to his knees, pounding the ground in frustration.
Don't come any closer. I don't want to be turned into a puff by Nidoking.
The female Team Rocket member, pale and trembling, stared in terror at the approaching Nidoking. Dylan, walking behind Nidoking, gave the fairly pretty and well-built female Team Rocket member a peculiar look.
What kind of inappropriate stuff does this woman watch? You're too weak. Get a proper job. Why join an evil organization? Dylan shook his head, continuing with Nidoking and Salazzle.
Along the way, they encountered several more Team Rocket members.
However, all were easily defeated by Nidoking and Salazzle.
Most of these Team Rocket members were sensible enough to step aside after losing, letting Dylan pass.
No one wanted to test the power of a Pokémon on their own body.
Although Team Rocket was evil, they weren't stupid.
Fighting Pokémon after being defeated would be suicidal. Some were even accidentally injured by the battle's aftermath, and Dylan could only say they were unlucky.
A famous philosopher once said, "To step over an ant without killing it is a difficult power to master." Similarly, defeating them while ensuring their safety was also challenging.
This guy.
In the control room, a Team Rocket member watched the surveillance footage of the rampaging dark-clad youth, his face red with anger. This was their base, yet this guy strolled around like it was nothing.
Didn't Team Rocket care about their reputation? And he was mocking them.
Seeing the youth smile at the camera and flash a peace sign made the Team Rocket member grit his teeth in anger.
Are you clocking in? Damn it! Looks like this is it. Dylan didn't even glance at the limping Team Rocket members fleeing. He focused on the small, locked room ahead. The steel door looked sturdy. Dylan took a step back, examining it. Nidoking, open the door. Nidoking roared, lowered its head, and rammed into the door.
With a loud crash, the steel door shattered.
Nidoking clawed at the remaining pieces, clearing the way. Good job. Dylan praised Nidoking, entering the room.
The room was small, with a black safe in the corner being the most eye-catching item.
Nidoking. Dylan hesitated but then asked Nidoking to act again. He didn't know the password. Nidoking's claws glowed with a dark aura, using a dark-type move, Health Rust.
With a few slashes, the safe broke open.
It's really a Pokeball. Dylan glanced inside, seeing only an ordinary red and white Pokeball. What kind of Pokemon is it?
Dylan curiously took the Pokeball, turning it around.
It looked unremarkable.
But since Archer valued it so much, it had to be extraordinary.
Come out. Dylan decided to open the Pokeball.
A flash of white light revealed a black Pokemon before him.
Seeing this Pokemon, Dylan was shocked.
Its appearance was unforgettable, instantly recognizable.
No way, how could this Pokemon be here? Thoughts raced through Dylan's mind. It didn't make sense. Team Rocket, though the underworld ruler of Kanto, hadn't extended their reach to other regions yet. Wait.
Dylan suddenly remembered the man he saw in the Vermilion City Hotel, and everything became clear.
No way?
Thinking of that possibility, Dylan was stunned.
Was that guy so weak that he lost his Pokemon? The black Pokemon stood silently, head down, its aura weak and spirit low. Oh my, young man, sneaking into someone else's base and taking their stuff is quite rude, you know?
A lazy voice suddenly came from the doorway, carrying a chilling undertone.
Dylan looked up.
A green-haired, handsome young man stood there, one of Team Rocket's high-ranking officers, Proton, whom Dylan had met on the SSN.
The black Pokemon also looked at Proton, blue eyes filled with complex emotions. It was him. Young man, that belongs to Team Rocket. Could you return it to me?
Proton smiled, extending his hand to Dylan.
Oh. Dylan raised an eyebrow, pocketing the Pokeball.
Adjusting his collar, he slowly spoke.
What do you mean, Team Rockets? This is clearly my Pokemon. If you keep talking nonsense, I won't be polite. Serious face. Proton's expression froze. Are you kidding me? Am I the one talking nonsense? Can you lie any more blatantly? Are you in Team Rocket or am I? Chapter 78, Urgent Rescue Needed. Proton was a bit taken aback.
His memory wasn't bad, and he definitely remembered seeing this dark-clad youth on the SSN. Upon investigation, it turned out this person was indeed a trainer from Rota Gym and the gym leader too. But the words he was saying. Since when did gym leaders of the Pokemon League become so shameless? Young man, that joke isn't very funny. Proton's face twitched slightly as he tried to maintain his usual facade of a smiling tiger.
As a gym leader of the Pokemon League, stealing someone else's Pokemon is quite unethical. Proton's tone was laced with undisguised sarcasm. Tisk Proton, do you have any evidence? Dylan raised an eyebrow. You say I stole your Pokemon, but do you have any proof? Proton was amused. Did he really need proof? Look at the destroyed door and the broken safe. Calling you a robber wouldn't be an exaggeration. Legitimate League members storming a Team Rocket base would be arresting members left and right. But you? You just came in and started looting, didn't you? Young man, isn't Darkrai right beside you? And you took its Pokeball too. Yes, this black Pokemon was indeed Darkrai. That's right. Dylan nodded nonchalantly. But do you have any proof that Darkrai belongs to Team Rocket? Why don't you call it and see if it responds to you? Dylan glanced at Darkrai, which was also looking at him.
This Darkrai seemed off, not only physically weak but also mentally exhausted.
Who knows what it had gone through? Proton's eyes darkened.
There was no way Darkrai would respond to him. It was a blessing that Darkrai hadn't attacked him.
Young man, you. What do you mean, you? I have a question for you, Proton.
Ignoring Proton's dark look, Dylan took a step forward, speaking loudly and righteously, cutting off Proton's words.
What is Team Rocket's deal? Locking my Darkrai in your safe? Proton was stunned into silence as Dylan's voice boomed.
If you don't give me a satisfactory explanation today, Proton, you'll be spending some time in jail.
Sensing their trainer needed support, Nidoking and Salazzle stepped forward. Nidoking wore a fierce expression and Salazzle sneered. The atmosphere changed instantly. Full villain mode. JPG. You. Proton was shocked. Good heavens. This was the first time he had seen a gym leader from the Pokemon League act like this. You're falsely accusing me with such audacity, and you don't even blush. Who taught you this? Fine.
Finally regaining his composure, Proton's sinister face twisted as he pulled down his hat brim.
It seems you won't be returning Darkrai to us, so be it. I find you quite interesting as well.
Proton's voice turned cold.
He wasn't a saint. 2 Pokeballs opened, revealing Crobat and Weezing.
Tisk, just right, your bounty in the league is quite high too.
Dylan smiled brightly.
Capturing him and handing him over to the league would surely enhance Dylan's performance record, resulting in richer rewards.
Proton sneered.
This kid really had no idea of the danger he was in. Just because he defeated Archer with help, he thought he could handle Proton too?
Such laughable arrogance. Darkrai remained silent, seemingly invisible, but as the two were about to battle, its blue eyes flickered, focusing on Crobat. This Crobat wasn't unfamiliar. Darkrai's eyes grew more complicated. Crobat, Air Slash. Weezing, Psybeam.
Proton stepped back to a safe distance, holding a Pokeball ready to throw, and quickly commanded his 2 Pokemon. This wasn't a standard battle, and Proton, as an experienced trainer, knew it well. He couldn't be sure of this youth's street fighting experience, but from his shameless words, he could guess he was a rogue.
Feeble attack. Dylan glanced at them and clicked his tongue. Nidoking, Thunderbolt. Nidoking roared, its burly body crackling with electricity. Golden lightning shot towards the Air Slash and Psybeam. Electric-type Thunderbolt. Boom!
The 3 attacks clashed violently, but in the next moment, Thunderbolt broke through Air Slash and Psybeam, shooting towards Crobat and Weezing. Crobat dodged quickly, flying up, while Weezing was hit directly, crying out in pain.
This power? Something's wrong.
Proton kept retreating, shielding his face from the blast. His expression soured as he struggled to keep his eyes open.
But the key issue was how this Nidoking's Thunderbolt could be so strong? Sheer force ability?
Sheer force removes the additional effects of moves but boosts their power by 30%.
It's a powerful ability for battle.
As the smoke cleared, Proton noticed something was wrong. A long, dark shadow leapt out, flames building in its mouth.
Crobat! Watch out! Proton quickly warned Crobat.
A fiery pillar surged towards the airborne Crobat, slamming it against the wall.
Fire-type flamethrower. Boom!
The flames erupted, leaving Crobat covered in embers, nearly knocked out by the flamethrower.
Salazzle landed gracefully, sneering at Crobat with mocking eyes.
Proton's face darkened, his eyes flickering.
He didn't expect his Pokémon to be hit so quickly. The atmosphere grew tense. Tap, tap.
Footsteps echoed as Dylan emerged from the small room, standing in the wider hallway, staring at Proton.
Nidoking kept its massive body between Dylan and any threat.
Darkrai hesitated but slowly floated after Dylan.
Mr. Proton, it seems your strength is lacking. Dylan smirked. Hey, don't get cocky, young man. Let's see who laughs last. Proton was enraged but sneered. This guy dared to mock him during battle? How did such an uncivilized person become a gym leader? What were the league's inspectors doing?
Such a hard mouth, but mouthpiece isn't here.
Dylan sighed, missing little Leah's sharp tongue.
If Leah were here, she would be spitting verbal bullets by now. Something's off about this guy's strength. Compared to Dylan, Proton felt immense pressure, discreetly pulling out a communicator.
Dylan noticed Proton's subtle move but couldn't stop him. No problem. Unless Giovanni himself came, no one could save Proton today. A buy one, get one deal would be even better.
And if Giovanni really risked exposure to come, it wouldn't matter.
The Articuno above wasn't for nothing.
It would be a perfect chance to see Lance and Giovanni clash.
Dylan had even prepared a camera for this possibility.
Meanwhile, Proton urgently sent a distress signal to Archer.
Danger. Urgent rescue needed. .jpg. Chapter 79, Who told you to bring Dylan here?
In the control room, Archer was still transferring data. A glance at the monitors showed that battles between Team Rocket and League trainers were taking place throughout the base. Archer's expression was serious, he needed to hurry. Ariana was missing, and only he and Proton were left as high-level combatants in the base.
This genetic fusion research data was extremely important. The base was definitely lost, but the data had to be taken away. Otherwise, the loss to Team Rocket would be too severe. Ha! The lab has also been breached? Archer looked towards the lab and saw an ordinary-looking girl with a Wartortle breaking in. What a pity. Although the genetic fusion research wasn't perfect, they had indeed created a semi-finished product. Speaking of which, what is Proton doing? Archer frowned. He had sent Proton to retrieve Darkrai, but he still hadn't returned. Even though this league operation was led by Adaman, he hadn't made a move yet, right? Darkrai, as a legendary mythical Pokémon, was indeed precious. Even though the boss didn't value it highly and its gene fusion with Mutwo had failed. But if a Team Rocket executive could capture it and train it well, its strength would surely increase significantly. Just then, Archer's communicator suddenly lit up. Question mark. Archer picked up the communicator and saw that it was a distress call from Proton? What was going on with Proton? The Kanto League hadn't dispatched any other Elite Four members, had they? Had he really fallen to the point where he couldn't even handle ordinary League trainers? Archer glanced at the data transfer, which was nearly complete, and hesitated for a second. Can't save him, you'll have to fend for yourself, brother. Archer felt a bit sorry but clearly prioritized the important research data over Proton. 5 minutes later, Archer looked at the successful data transfer with satisfaction. He immediately put the USB drive into his inner pocket and deleted the entire system. Now he just needed to retreat. Although the base was certainly surrounded by League members led by Lance, it didn't matter. A cunning rabbit has 3 burrows. This large base had a very hidden exit, known only to high-level executives. Archer turned to leave, but just then, boom! The control room door was blasted open with a loud explosion, and the deafening blast and smoke made Archer cough uncontrollably, caught off guard. What was happening? The enemy had reached this far? Archer's face was extremely grim. A shaky figure staggered in through the blasted door. Archer! Proton? Archer couldn't believe his eyes as he saw the tattered, disheveled figure. Despite the dust-covered face, missing hat, and ragged clothes, it was undeniably his colleague, Proton. How did he end up like this in just 10 minutes? Did he go through some survival challenge in the wilderness? Proton's eyes lit up when he saw Archer, running towards him as if he had found a savior. Great! You're still here, Archer. Proton was nearly in tears. What happened to you? Archer's eyelid twitched. His intuition told him something was very wrong. That guy's a monster. Can't win. Absolutely can't win. What are you talking about? Tisk fate brings us together again, Mr. Archer. I didn't expect us to meet so soon. Suddenly, a clear voice interrupted. Archer was stunned, and Proton immediately hid behind him. Dylan? Seeing the young man at the door with a Nidoking and Salazzle, and a weakened Darkrai behind him, Archer frowned. Was Dylan the one who beat Proton like this? Archer was a bit shocked. The incident on the SS was still fresh in his mind, it hadn't been long. But something was off. Dylan was strong, but Proton shouldn't be completely outmatched by him. It's an honor to be remembered by Mr. Archer. Dylan, looking like an elegant and gentle gentleman, had a bright gaze fixed on Archer. 2 of the 4 executives, plus Ariana from before 3 high-ranking Team Rocket executives. The Kanto League's rewards should be quite significant. Maybe I should apply for a shiny Beldum? Mega Metagross is pretty cool, though there's no Beldum in the Kanto region. But with such a big achievement, couldn't President just ask the Hoenn League for one? I guessed that Mr. Archer hadn't left yet. I didn't expect Proton to actually lead the way. Dylan's smile grew warmer. So you led the enemy here? I could have retreated safely, you idiot. Archer shot a fierce glare at Proton, who remained defiant. Archer, I underestimated you before. I didn't expect you to handle even this guy. Impressive. Proton gave Archer a thumbs up. He had always thought Archer, as the leader of the 4 executives, was great at strategy but not much stronger than the rest. But now, it seemed Archer had been hiding his true strength all along. Even someone as strong as Dylan needed a 2v1 to beat Archer. This showed how valuable Archer was as the leader of the 4 executives. Archer was momentarily confused by Proton's comment. But that wasn't the point. The point was Dylan. Dylan, it truly is a coincidence. How about my previous offer? Archer calmed down, stood tall with his left hand behind his back, looking elegant. Previous offer? Oh, he wanted to recruit me into Team Rocket. In this situation, Mr. Archer, are you joking again? Dylan's smile widened. To be honest, Ms. Ariana is already in custody, getting familiar with the environment. I imagine she must be quite lonely. You wouldn't want to leave your colleague all alone, would you? So Ariana was captured by Dylan? Archer and Proton were taken aback but quickly understood. I see. Dylan, how about we each take a step back? Consider Darkrai a gift from Team Rocket to you. Archer's eyes flickered, then he decisively spoke to Dylan. Now wasn't the time to fight Dylan. Lance, the Kanto champion, was still out there, watching. The longer they stayed, the greater the risk. And Dylan capturing Ariana and defeating Proton like this didn't add up. Did Dylan hide his true strength on the SSN?
Archer, being highly intelligent, considered this possibility and didn't naively trust the previous battle. Mr. Archer still loves to joke. Dylan shrugged and stepped back 2 steps, casually waving his hand. Nidoking and Salazzle understood Dylan's intent, stepping forward with fierce glares at Archer and Proton, creating an oppressive atmosphere.
So, we can't come to an agreement?
Archer's dark face grew serious as he released Houndoom and Weezing from their Pokeballs.
Of course, Mr. Archer. As friends, I'll visit you often. Dylan's tone was gentle, as if talking to an old friend. Archer's face darkened. Visit me in prison, huh? Dylan. You don't understand.
Last time, you teamed up with Red, and there was a clown interfering.
That's why I lost. Archer spoke in a low voice, but this time he was in peak condition.
Go for it, brother. Take down this uncivilized guy. Proton cheered on Archer like a cheerleader.
Dylan. Bring it on. I'll win. And then. How can he be so strong?
Archer clutched his chest, shocked at the sight of his defeated Houndoom and Weezing.
How did this happen? The battle hadn't lasted long, yet his main Pokémon were already down. Finally coming to his senses, Archer glared at the equally stunned Proton. You actually led such a strong enemy to me? Are you insane? I could have retreated safely.
It's all because of this idiot Proton.
He knew Dylan was so strong, yet he brought him here. Is Proton brainless? Does he have to drag someone down with him? Now what? Dylan was blocking the door, how could they escape? Hey, don't blame me. Didn't you say it took both Dylan and Red to beat you? I thought you could handle it. Proton retorted, feeling wronged. How was he supposed to know Archer was bluffing? Chapter 80, Why Not Be a Decent Person? You. Archer was both amused and angered by Proton. So now he's being accused of lying? But he wasn't lying.
Back on the SSN, it was indeed Dylan and Leah who teamed up 2v1 against him, with that Harley Quinn-like girl constantly using mental pollution, which is why he lost.
Dylan watched with great interest as Archer and Proton started to bicker. This was too entertaining. We're all brothers here, let's not argue, it'll hurt our camaraderie. How about you two just have a fight instead? Dylan tried to play the peacemaker. Both Archer and Proton looked at Dylan with confusion, their faces turning grim. It seems you're not willing. So, are you still going to fight me? If so, hurry up and bring out your Pokémon, Dylan said, a bit disappointed.
Seeing the way Archer and Proton were acting, it seemed they wouldn't fight after all. But then again, they were high-ranking executives in Team Rocket. Archer took a deep breath, calming his agitated emotions.
Dylan, I think we can talk this out, Archer said, trying to keep his voice steady.
No, fighting was out of the question.
Dylan was too strong.
Looking at Proton, it seemed his main Pokémon had already been taken down by Dylan.
Although Archer still had some of his main Pokémon, what was the use?
They had no choice but to negotiate.
Archer didn't want to end up in jail, he still had work to do for Team Rocket. At this point, there's nothing left to discuss, Mr. Archer, Dylan raised an eyebrow.
As a League employee, I've already shown mercy by not attacking you and Mr. Proton directly.
Lance is still watching from above, Mr. Archer. Why not be a decent person? Dylan shook his head slowly. He believed he had already gone easy on them.
If it had been Lorelei or Lance, whether Archer and Proton could still be standing would be a big question mark.
Dylan, I don't think Team Rocket has wronged you. Ariana has already been arrested, and that achievement is enough. Archer didn't give up but spoke sincerely to Dylan.
If you turn a blind eye and let Proton and I leave, or even just one of us, Team Rocket will reward you far more generously than the League. He still had critically important genetic fusion data, the product of years of research at this base. He had to get it out. I'm afraid I have to refuse. I'm a gym leader. Please excuse the both of you, Dylan smiled, directly refusing.
What a joke! Though he did enjoy watching entertaining and thrilling scenes, what benefit would there be in letting Archer and Proton go? Even if there were benefits, they wouldn't be worth it. Salazzle. Salazzle bared its teeth and began to approach Archer and Proton. Damn it!
Archer understood that Dylan intended for Salazzle to attack them, rendering them unable to resist.
But how could he let that happen? Buzz, buzz, buzz. At that moment, the faint sound of wings flapping reached Dylan's ears. Nidoking and Salazzle noticed it immediately as well. Dylan looked towards the left corridor, his expression tense. A yellow figure, as fast as lightning, was swiftly approaching. Salazzle. Despite Dylan's warning and Salazzle quickly gathering flames in its mouth, it was still too late. Bang!
The yellow Pokémon, like a knight's lance, thrust its long needle fiercely into Salazzle. Salazzle felt a sharp pain and immense force hit her, sending her flying backward like a cannonball, smashing heavily into the wall behind her, shattering it.
Everything happened too fast. So fast that the three present hadn't even reacted yet.
Dylan's brow furrowed tightly as he looked at the Pokémon that had stopped in front of Archer and Proton. It resembled a giant yellow wasp, with two pairs of wings on its back and slender legs, with large, long white needles at the front of its arms, resembling the head of a knight's lance.
It was a Beedrill, a bug/poison-type Pokémon.
Beedrill was one of the most common bug-type Pokémon in the Kanto region. You could find swarms of them in almost any large forest, though they were usually not very strong. However, this Beedrill had just swiftly attacked and sent Dylan's Salazzle flying. Even though Salazzle wasn't Dylan's main Pokémon, it was already at level 53, making it quite powerful among the Elite 4-level Pokémon. But it was so easily sent flying by this Beedrill. Boss is here. As high-ranking Team Rocket executives, Archer and Proton were delighted to see the Beedrill.
The debris was pushed aside, and Salazzle slowly emerged, breathing heavily, her narrow eyes glaring angrily at Beedrill. It was clear that Salazzle wasn't in good shape. Tisk, what a strong Beedrill. Are you not going to show yourself? Dylan licked his dry lips as he spoke. Dylan glanced at Salazzle.
It seemed that Beedrill hadn't even used any special move, meaning it was just a regular attack that had done this much damage to Salazzle. Such a terrifying Beedrill could only belong to one person, Giovanni, the boss of Team Rocket. Click, click, click. The sound of polished shoes echoed, and from around the corner, a middle-aged man in a black suit and fedora hat slowly walked out.
It was Giovanni. Hey, young people these days are truly amazing.
A deep, hoarse male voice came from him, clearly disguised, as were his appearance and build.
Dylan looked Giovanni up and down.
He was very different from how he remembered him, but that made sense.
Giovanni appearing here in person was already incredibly risky.
If he hadn't disguised himself, his Viridian gym would have been raided overnight.
For a base in Celadon City that was bound to be destroyed, Giovanni wouldn't have acted so recklessly. And you are? Dylan placed his left hand in his pocket, pressing a button on his communicator. He was signaling Lance, something they had agreed upon before the operation. As fast as he was growing, Dylan knew his limits. He was still far from the level of top champions like Giovanni or Lance. This Beedrill in front of him was at least level 80. And that was a conservative estimate. Boss. Archer and Proton immediately ran to Giovanni's side, both respectful and ashamed. They never imagined that one day, they would need their boss to personally come to their rescue. As subordinates, they felt like total failures. You should understand now, Giovanni said, taking the USB drive from Archer and slipping it into his pocket, his mature and calm smile directed at Dylan. In fact, Giovanni had been here for a while. If it weren't for the fact that Archer and Proton had no way to escape, he wouldn't have risked stepping in. The leader of Team Rocket, Dylan squinted slightly. Exactly, but today really isn't a good day. Kid, if we get the chance, we'll meet again, Giovanni said calmly, preparing to leave with Archer and Proton. Although he found Dylan intriguing, the Kanto champion, Lance, was just outside, and Giovanni didn't want to deal with him right now. Beedrill floated behind the three, its red insect eyes fixed on Dylan.
I can't let you leave so easily, Dylan decisively threw out a pokeball.
Articuno, Blizzard. Yow! Beautiful ice blue light gleamed on Articuno's body as it unleashed a powerful snowstorm. An ice-type blizzard.
The air in the base plummeted in temperature, white snowflakes fell, and the walls on both sides of the corridor frosted over.
A very powerful blizzard. Oh! Giovanni paused, surprised as he turned around. Articuno?
But as the raging snowstorm approached, Beedrill simply raised its right limb, and a white light flashed.
A fighting-type brick break. With an impressive strike from its long, white needle, the blizzard was effortlessly split in two.
Watching Beedrill handle the attack as if it were slicing through vegetables, Dylan couldn't help but be amazed.
This Beedrill was ridiculously strong.
There was no way he could beat this absurdly powerful Beedrill, but it didn't matter.
He had bought enough time. Boom!
A loud explosion erupted from nearby, flames bursting out as a thick wall was blasted open. A black cloak billowed as a stern-faced red-haired young man walked in, a powerful Dragonite following closely behind.
Lance!
Giovanni narrowed his eyes as he looked at the arrogant, cold-blooded redhead.
This was going to be interesting. Dylan took a few steps back, leaning against Articuno as he watched Giovanni and Lance get closer.
He was just about ready to grab some popcorn. The clash between Kanto's champion, Lance, and the dark mastermind of Team Rocket, Giovanni, this was going to be one hell of a show. That wraps up this part of What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader.
Thanks so much for listening.
As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Just a quick reminder, What If Ninja in Jujutsu Kaisen is now on hold, since we've caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel.
I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if Reborn is Goku clone? What if Natsu has dual elements?
What if Transmigrated in one piece and becoming a marine?
Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next.
If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well.
See you in the next one.